What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Alright, check it out. Part 2. We only gave you 4 of the 8, but there's 8 teams that benefited from the layoff going into the playoffs. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. The Milwaukee Bucks had faced injuries, and these were a lot of little nagging injuries, but they were to key players. So, you know, benefiting from the layoff, yes, they benefited a lot because, I'll go down the list of names. We're talking Chris Middleton, George Hill, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Eric Bledsoe. These are all key players, guys. All key players, and they were battling and dealing with injuries coming up on this COVID layoff. Well, Chris Middleton was battling a neck injury, and again, time off to heal, not practice. George Hill was actually battling 2 injuries. He had a groin injury and an abductor injury. And, again, those are things that takes time to heal. As you play on those things, there will continue to be nagging injuries. You know what else is huge when you're talking about running up and down the court, jumping and such, dunking the basketball? Knee injuries. Well, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Eric Bledsoe were struggling a bit with knee injuries. So with all of these little nagging injuries, and not injuries that was preventing these guys from playing, but it was just lasting injuries. And guys, as we know, we witnessed this in last season's playoffs. A lot of times these guys will push through and play on these nagging injuries, but when you have an injury, you're stressing other areas of the legs and the body. And in a blink of an eye, those things can pop, tear, or rupture, so you can cause yourself worse problems. So it's a good thing that these guys have had this time to heal and lay off of these injuries, because now they're going to come back full-fledged. I wouldn't say that this is one of the teams that were most benefited, because the Milwaukee Bucks was leading the league. So I don't think that they had an issue there. But huge benefits from laying off, because when you have 4 key players, again, Bledsoe, George Hill, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Chris Middleton, all battling these nagging little injuries, the fact that they're not going to have those things and they're going to come back, 90, 100%, this is huge for the Bucks. And they already, have the momentum. With this layoff, I think a lot of teams' momentum that they may have, you may see that just is gone. It's gone. They haven't been playing to maintain momentum. You have to keep playing. So they've been off. And, I don't think that the momentum will be a factor. But they are leading the league. They do have chemistry, and they're playing well together. And the fact that they have had time to nurse these injuries, watch out for the Bucks. I mean, of course, a lot of us picked them to take the whole title anyway, and they're still in good shape to do such, especially because of this COVID-19 layoff. Now, when we talk benefits, layoffs, nuggets, we have to talk Jokic. The Joker has lost a massive amount of weight. Now, guys, I don't know if you were following Jokic in the playoffs last year, but he was getting gassed out. This was an issue for Nikola Jokic, gassing out. He was, not in great basketball shape. He was averaging like 18 points. And, this is just not what we need from Jokic in the playoffs. And it was due to fatigue. But Jokic has dropped 40 pounds as reported, almost 40 pounds. and he looks unrecognizable. He doesn't even look the same. I mean, he is really slim and fit. I think that defensively, this will help Jokic. He was always a decent defender, but now that he has legs under him and he can, move laterally better, I'm sure. But definitely his gas tank, because they're going to need Jokic down in the stretch, and he just couldn't show up. But how else has this benefited the Denver Nuggets? Well, Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray were also nursing injuries. And guys, this is a common thing. A lot of these players that were nursing injuries or coming off of injuries have had time to fully recover. These athletes are used to playing on those injuries, nagging them along the way and just playing through and dealing with them. But now they've actually had time to recoup and recover from this. Jamal Murray is a dynamic player, and this guy being healthy means problems. Big problems. One thing that they're going to have to figure out, the Denver Nuggets, is how to institute Michael Porter Jr. They need to get this kid's minutes up. Michael Porter Jr. is dominant, but, just working that lineup, the Denver Nuggets, they have to find the correct lineup because they have similar guys in similar positions, very talented. You got Jeremy Grant and Michael Porter Jr. playing the same position. They're super talented. So they're going to have to figure out the lineups and how to rotate these guys. But, look for the Denver Nuggets to be making some noise. Definitely another team that will make it out of the first round of the playoffs, in my opinion. All right, LA Clippers. LA and LA, guys, no surprise that I saved these two teams for the last. LA Clippers is a favorite to win the whole thing. I actually have three teams, favorite to win. Of course, the Bucks on the East, and they stand alone. But the LA Clippers and the LA Lakers, of course. Magic in LA. Well, I believe that the LA Clippers are close to the Portland Trailblazers when we talk about benefits from this layoff. When you think about Kawhi Leonard, he has a permanent knee injury that he's going to be nursing from here throughout the rest of his career. Kawhi Leonard has a degenerative knee issue, so he's always going to face problems with those knees. However, the fact that he's had this layoff, Paul George, remember guys, he had a shoulder surgery. His shoulder's been giving him issues and such. He's had time from this layoff to heal those shoulders. Now guys, we're not talking about a Nurkic here or Zach Collins. We're talking about two all-star players, one of them arguably the best player in the game. When you give guys like this time to nurse an injury and heal, that means trouble. Also, the Clippers were dominating teams without these guys full. Reggie Jackson is a very good defender, very good offensive player, and he can handle the ball. He makes good decisions. And this lineup was really damaging teams. Now that you have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard much healthier, the Clippers need to, Doc Rivers and the Clippers need to focus on their chemistry, because let me tell you something, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they're terrible. They're a terrible matchup defensively for any team in the league, because Kawhi Leonard will have that ball at the top of the key. Paul George will come swinging around, and Kawhi Leonard will hand the ball off to him. Well, you watch the defensive guys right here collapse on Kawhi Leonard. That gives Paul George a chance to take that lane. This happens often because Kawhi Leonard requires a double team, right? So this 1-2 punch can be extremely dangerous. Watch out for that. Doc Rivers, as I said, is an extremely intelligent coach, and I'm sure that he's going to work in this 1-2 punch. But LA Clippers are going to be a force to reckon with. Wouldn't it be crazy for Kawhi Leonard to win a title with a team, leave that team and go to the next team and go right back to the finals and win again. Amazing. Watch out for the Clippers, but they've definitely benefited huge off this layoff. Like I said, right there with the Portland Trailblazers, if you ask me. Last but definitely not least, the LA Lakers. LeBron James, Anthony Davis and crew. Now, there are a lot of channels, fans alike, that believe the LA Lakers' biggest issue this season would be, can they stay healthy? So when we talk about a layoff and not having to play, 20 odd some games, being able to rest a full month. Listen, I'm not sure, for all of you detractors out there that seem to be wishing and praying for an Anthony Davis injury, you guys may not be obliged, because this layoff helped the Lakers keeping these guys healthy. And a healthy Lakers team is a dangerous Lakers team. Let's just say that. There is no answer right now in the league for the LeBron James, Anthony Davis duo. I do believe that they've sealed the deal as being the most powerful duo in the league this season. There was a question, you had the Dame Lillard and the CJ McCullough, the the Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, and Kristaps Porzingis. But it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis that has shined as far as the duos this season. So let's pay attention to this particular play that LeBron James and Anthony Davis has been running avidly, and it seems that teams are not able to stop it. LeBron James cuts right into the Anthony Davis elbow screen, but then he stops and he sets a little screen where Davis can dip down into the hole. But watch Avery Bradley on this play. He sets the cross screen, which allows Anthony Davis to shoot unguarded on the baseline. But it's even more slick, because when you watch JaVale McGee come up to the top toward LeBron James, the illusion for the defense is that they're about to set up a pick and roll. But Bradley down at the bottom with that cross screen, leaving Anthony Davis wide open for the shot. Teams are not going to be able to stop this. And LeBron James and Anthony Davis has been running this play time and time again. Teams are just having difficulty, because you can't leave LeBron up top for the pick and roll with JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee's too long, LeBron's too dominant. This is a play here that's very excellent, and it's going to give a lot of teams problems. But this is just an example of why LeBron James and Anthony Davis has pretty much taken the charge as being the number one duo in the league. Look out for the Lakers, of course, because these guys were expected to win it all, such as the Clippers, such as the Bucks. And I believe that those three teams are the forerunners to take the whole thing, come away with that title. The Lakers, the Bucks, and the Clippers. But I just wanted to give you guys a little insight on what to expect when the NBA comes back. We're a week away, guys. And I can't wait. For the love of sports, let's talk about it.